Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Throwaway81457. Am I the a-hole for barely eating any of the cake my girlfriend made for my birthday and refusing to eat anything else she bakes until she apologizes? I've been with my current girlfriend for almost 3 years, and we pretty much get along for most things, except when it comes to my mother. My mother is mentally slow. I don't know what else to call it since she grew up pretty rough and was never formally diagnosed, and had me at 13. Her being physically and emotionally younger made her a fun mom, just not very responsible. In any case, this is one of the main reasons my girlfriend feels uncomfortable around my mom, because she says she has no manners and can be rude, both of which can be true at times, but my mom doesn't do things intentionally. It's just how she was raised and it's hard to teach her new things. The second reason is that I spent a lot of money for my mom to live in an expensive facility or community so she can be independent but still have some help. She thinks it's a waste of money, especially since she wants to be able to buy a big house in the future and I refuse to pay her medical insurance despite having the money. She's currently on a plan she can't afford, which she brings up a lot in arguments. She's not my wife, so I don't want to commit to something like that yet, since I'm not sure how that would work if she ever decided to end the relationship or if it increased to something I'd rather not pay. I won't lie, I love my girlfriend, but she's not my wife, therefore not a priority, and I've tried proposing twice and been turned down each time. Anyways, I feel like I derailed for a second, but felt some context was important. So this year, she decided to make me a cake for my birthday. I was happy because she's a great baker and even better at decorating, so I asked for a chocolate sheet cake with canned frosting and rainbow sprinkles. She said it was fine, but kept suggesting I have something special and less cheap this year. My mom has made me this birthday cake every year since I was a child, but of course this year she couldn't and I told her. But I told her I was sure that's what I wanted, no presents and no people over. When I woke up the morning of my birthday, she had me eat breakfast in the living room because the dining room and kitchen were a mess. I'm not sure if I believe that now. And got me up and out of the house after lunch telling me it still wasn't ready and I couldn't see it because she also had a really small surprise as well. I come back an hour later as she'd asked, and when I opened the door to pretty much everyone we know and even don't know well, except my mom. Her parents are there and some other people and they leap out with those blow things. I tried to act happy, but to be honest, I didn't want anyone there at all. If it had just been our families, maybe it would have been nice, but I was secretly annoyed. Then, when I saw the cake, it wasn't anything like what I asked for. It was 3 round lemon cream cakes, the naked fancy kind with flowers and berries. It looked incredible, but I could tell it must have taken ages, but it's not what I wanted, and I'm pretty neutral about lemon desserts. Everyone brought gifts, and I tried to pretend that I liked them, and I did, but in the moment, I just didn't feel like opening and reacting to gifts, so I feel like my reactions were underwhelming. Then, when it was time to cut the cake, she gave me a big piece, and I didn't even finish half of it. I wasn't in the mood. I lied and said I was too full from eating all of her favorite foods. I'll admit that was a bit too blunt, especially since there was company and she was a little short with me the rest of the party. Finally, my mom comes just after everyone finished, and according to my girlfriend, she accidentally told her the wrong time. She brought me a single cupcake, just how I like it, as a gift, because she couldn't make the cake this year. I was happy and I couldn't hide it. My girlfriend noticed and kind of gave my mom the stink eye, which is fine as long as she wasn't being rude, but then she took it a step further and just outright made a bad joke about how the cupcake was unique, like my mom. She still likes dresses and 2 ponytails, and a few people even laughed. Fast forward to later, I'm eating my cupcake in bed, hoping to end the day on a good note. I didn't complain at all outside of that one comment because I didn't want to seem too ungrateful, but then says under her breath that of course I'd rather eat something that looks like it was made by a toddler than actual quality. That was the last straw for me. We got into a heated argument, so I ended up sleeping on the couch on my own birthday. The next morning, I made it clear that I wasn't going to eat any of her desserts until she apologizes. It's been 3 days. She told everyone that I hated the party, and now everyone is calling me ungrateful. Plus, her family found out I don't pay her insurance, and right now, things are on and off tense and not tense between us. Am I the a-hole here? Alright, OP, not the a-hole. Here's the deal. You're not wrong for feeling the way you do, but you need to take control of this situation before it eats away at you. There's 3 things you need to do. 1, you need to set boundaries. Your mom is a priority. Anyone in your life needs to respect that. Your girlfriend doesn't have to love her, but basic decency is non-negotiable. And because of that, you need to demand respect. She ignored your wishes, insulted your mom, and made your birthday about herself. That's a pattern, not a mistake. And on that note, I would reevaluate the relationship. She turned down 2 proposals but expects financial commitment? The bottom line is, if she won't apologize or change her behavior, you need to walk away. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Tipsy Boo says, not the a-hole. So, what are the positives about this partner who doesn't listen to you, is ableist about your mother with additional needs, is openly disrespectful to your mother in public, expects you to financially support you, but doesn't wish to marry you? Good Ad 6336 says, not the a-hole. For what it's worth, happy birthday. Birthdays are literally the anniversary of your birth. They are meant to celebrate the birthday person and give others the opportunity to celebrate you and say, I am thankful to have you in my life. Your girlfriend made the day about her, not you. She either doesn't know you or doesn't respect your wishes or care enough. And Methodicalataxia says, not the a-hole. I think you are very sweet for trying to help your mom. She is your mom, and it sounds like she did the best she could given the circumstances. All of this is massive red flags that this is not a good relationship. I think it is time to end the relationship. Your girlfriend has different priorities than you do. You deserve someone who sympathizes with you and wants to help your mom too. My father-in-law is on his own. My own mom is well off, so not worried about her to the extent of her physical needs needing to be met. However, my father-in-law, we help as much as we can. It was both our idea to help him. We make sure he is fed and taken care of. We make sure he has a roof over his head and a reliable vehicle. Your soon-to-be ex really doesn't respect your family or you. It has to be all about her. She thinks she is thinking of you, but she isn't. She has to be the center of attention. OP's comment. Since the post is already long, I guess I'll comment instead. Maybe I'm just a terrible writer when I'm tired, but writing this a few hours ago felt like it would make sense, so sorry. To make it make sense, I used to make adult videos, mostly with other men, so I don't want anyone to know. Second, I used to scam dates by using their credit card information online to buy textbooks and personal items because I could only really afford food. But it was still bad, and sometimes I wonder if they didn't eat so I could, and it makes me paranoid even if I can't go to jail now. I can still be socially ostracized, and plastic surgery is just that if my social life is ruined, I can buy a new face and name. I was half joking. Also, for those wondering, I didn't mention the reason why my girlfriend rejected my marriage proposal twice, is because it sounds really bad to people who don't understand what it's like to live with someone disabled. I love my mother dearly, but in all honesty, I would not want to have children like her. They won't have an easy life. That's the reason basically. She thinks I might pass on bad genes. I'd like to try to have at least one child anyway because I don't have any disabilities, so I'm hoping my child would be healthy as well. But I don't think not wanting to adopt or take a chance is a bad reason to reject someone. In any case, I decided to take the coward's way out and leave for work excessively early to avoid her, and I put up a breakup note in her lunch bag. I'm expecting to feel awful later, so I think I'll update again when I'm not sad, which takes me a while. And again, I'm sorry for rambling. OP's edit, not an update, just wanted to say that I read all the comments and now I'm strongly considering just biting the bullet and saying I don't care, especially since she only knows of both because I told her not due to actual evidence, it's just not something I wanted to be outed for, metaphorically and literally. In any case, I guess the statute of limitations in my state would have already passed for me, funnily, right when we started dating. So at least if things go south, I can finally get the plastic surgery I've always wanted and a new name. Trying to make myself feel angry and not funny though. But it's hard because she always makes me feel sad and then happy again after. But I'm going to tell her we aren't twin flames or anything close anymore and probably update when I feel better if things get intense. Fortunately, my mom is happy as always, and we talk every day for those wondering. She's so nice, she doesn't always notice when people are being mean, so I won't and would never tell her how my ex-girlfriend truly felt about her, if she asks why things are going wrong. Second, another thing that I just wanted to add is that my mom, fortunately, was not a victim of abuse. My father was the same age, but I don't know if he had a disability. They got along well and she was loved. I just didn't mention him because, well, he's dead. Anyway, sorry, I have a tendency to get long-winded and over-explain, but I'm going to sleep now. Well, the community agrees that OP was not the a-hole, and we definitely got a lot of context from OP. And his decision was to use a breakup note in her lunch bag. So now, let's move on to the update to see how that paid off. She read the note and wasn't mad and just said she wanted to talk things over. But when I get there, she's pretty mad, and because apparently her coworker saw the note and how pathetic leaving a note is. In hindsight, I wasn't thinking and agree. The rest is just a blur. We get into a physical fight, which we've gotten into before, but never this bad, and I ended up breaking my forearm. She was throwing things as I was walking away, and I was crying, so I slipped. Then, the ride to the ER was probably the worst I felt in my life. I was still crying while they were trying to ask me questions, and then they either gave me something or I passed out. Either way, when I woke up, she apologized. I could tell she was still a little mad because she got food and didn't offer me any. After I get discharged, we get home, get into another argument, and I get mad and tell her she can leave. Her sister lives less than an hour away, so she'd be fine. Eventually, she agrees to leave, but she left most of her things here. She told me I have 3 days to pack up her stuff so her parents can come get it, which I guess is fair. I'm wondering if I should pack the ring in with her stuff because looking at it is now humiliating. Surprisingly, she only made 2 posts about it on social media, and it's only very vaguely exposing things I've done. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, and most of my friends felt bad, but a few, her friends first, have blocked me and left me angry texts. Her mom sent a voicemail crying and saying how disappointed they were in me, and honestly, I do feel a little bad for them because that's their daughter. It must feel sad, but I really just want to leave her stuff outside without talking to them. I haven't told my mom anything yet because I know she'll worry. I don't have an appetite right now because there's still leftover cake in the fridge and looking at it just makes me tired. I think I'm going to take a break from dating for a while and work on being happy alone because right now, all I want to do is call and apologize. OP, don't. She's out of your life, now pack her crap in a box and leave it outside for her parents to pick up. Also, change the locks and put security cameras outside. And about the ring, don't give it to her, she doesn't deserve it. She'd probably sell it for money to pay for her insurance. I would do one of 2 things. I would either melt it and use the parts to make something nicer to give to my mom, or sell it, and that's it. In any case, OP, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user MiddleLeading4669. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife to stop playing Roblox and do her duties as a parent? My 37 female wife and I, 36 male, have always tried to keep the housework pretty evenly split between us. I, for example, mow the lawn and do laundry and dishes, and she meal plans, cooks, and picks and drops off the kids. Lately, this has all changed because she has become addicted to a game called Dress to Impress on Roblox. If you aren't familiar, it's a game where you have to dress your character in a themed outfit before the time runs out, and the other players rate it from 1 to 5 stars. It started off as harmless, just a fun thing she would do during downtime before bed, but recently, she has missed crucial appointments and chores because of this game. I tried to be understanding and gently remind her to do her tasks, but she would always say she forgot or got distracted. The big argument happened last night when she forgot to pick up our 9-year-old son from basketball practice, which ended at 6. I hadn't gotten home yet as I had to work late, and our son doesn't have a phone, so I had no way of knowing the situation. I eventually got home at around 7 and realized he was not in his room. I looked around further and saw that he was nowhere to be found. I walked into our bedroom confused to ask my wife where he was and found her on her iPad playing the game as always. When I asked her where our son was, her eyes grew wide and I knew what happened without her having to say. I immediately got back into my car and went to pick him up. Luckily, his coach had stayed after to make sure he was picked up safe, and I apologized profusely. Apparently, he had been calling and texting my wife, who was the emergency contact, and she didn't even notice. When I got home, I immediately blew up at her. How could she be so addicted to a kid's game that she completely forgot about our son? Now she's telling me it was a one-time thing and that I'm an a-hole for getting angry. I don't know what to think. I do kind of understand her side of the story as it has only happened one time. But she has to be a responsible parent. She can't just completely forget about our child who has no way to get home on his own. So, am I the a-hole? Opie, you're not wrong for being upset. You are not the a-hole. There's a difference between forgetting to do chores and picking up your kid. There needs to be a hard line set on parenting responsibilities. I think you also need to address the root of the issue. It's not just one mistake, it's a pattern of neglect creeping in. Now, her getting angry at you for you being pissed at this is just a way for her to deflect and to try to not feel as guilty. Sit down with her and have a serious conversation. She can still play the game as long as she sticks to a responsible schedule. Again, she is an adult, she is a parent most importantly, she cannot be forgetting her kid. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Parsimonious Salad says, not the a-hole. This isn't a chore she's blowing off. She is forgetting your own child. How could she not even notice the calls and texts from the coach? That's what I'm wondering about. Is something else going on with her? And Opie responds, I'm not entirely sure how she missed all of the messages and phone calls from the coach. We haven't spoken much since the argument. I haven't noticed anything different with her, but I could be missing things. Review OK929 says, not the a-hole. We all make mistakes, even with our children, but her pattern of behavior means you were 100% correct to call it out. Hopefully, she sees this incident as a wake-up call. Helping and supporting her are really effing important. She made a mistake. Don't make another one by holding it over her head. And Opie responds, I'll be sure not to keep being harsh on her. I did get angry at her during the argument and I am regretting it now. I don't want to make her feel too bad or damage our marriage at all for something that shouldn't be such a big deal if her actions change. And Solar C says, OMG, forgetting your child? Huh? I am a mom and I am a gamer, and I think I fit the category of gaming a bit much at times, but never have I forgotten my child. I am way too anxious for that. To be sure, I have alarm sets, but several times I forget to set it and I never forgot. Somehow, an hour before end school, my nerves already start kicking in for that. And to be fair, if that ever would happen, it would be the day I stop gaming. So, not the a-hole. Community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and they gave him some advice as to how to approach his wife about it. Now, let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. Hi everyone, thank you for all of your advice on my previous post. So, I decided to have a conversation with my wife the day after I made the post about the time spent on video games. We talked for a while and I tried to bring up important things people talked about in the comments. I saw a lot of people suggesting that I completely block and delete Roblox from her devices, and I brought that up. Obviously, she didn't take that well. I told her it's completely unacceptable what she has been doing and there needs to be at least a time limit set on her device. I can't control her, but I made it clear it's a very important thing to me and it would damage our relationship if she said no. After I said this, she agreed to the time limits. Another thing I saw a lot in the comments was concern for my wife's mental health. I appreciate people's insight into this because it's something I don't really have a lot of experience in. I asked her if she would consider seeing a therapist and she said she would think about it. People were also concerned about how my son is feeling after all of this. I didn't realize it was something that may have an impact on him. I had a conversation with him and made sure he understood his mom and I love and care for him and that nothing like this would ever happen again. I also have ordered him a cheap flip phone so he wouldn't be completely stranded alone if these events did end up repeating. If there's anything I should do or could do differently regarding my son, please let me know because I don't actually know how to navigate this situation. I don't want to be too harsh on my wife. We love each other and it's been made more clear after our talk that this should not be marriage ending or cause any lasting damage. Thank you. Well, OP, you took the first step, you spoke to her, you guys are setting time limits, hopefully she follows through. If not, you'd need to revisit this conversation and maybe then she would need to delete the game from her devices. In the meantime, here's wishing you all the best, OP. Thanks for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.